What's going on, everybody? Good evening and welcome on in on air with Chris Shanafel. I am your host, Chris Shanafel, and it is a pleasure to welcome back onto the show. That's right, I said back onto the show. He first made his appearance in 2015 when he was gearing up for the 2015 NFL draft, and now here we are. He's preparing guys for the next level for the 2025 NFL draft. It is a pleasure to welcome onto the show Rodney Nichols of Grindhard Sports Training, the CEO, the founder of Grindhard Sports Training. I got the swag right there. And of course, an alumni of Benedictine University here in Lisle, Illinois. Rodney, long time no talk. Been looking forward to this for a long time. How's everything, man?
Oh, man, thanks for having me, man. It's been a while, man. I can't believe 10 years passed so fast, but I appreciate you having me on again and connecting again and an opportunity just to talk to you again, man. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been great, man. The journey been good for me.
The pleasure's all mine. The pleasure's all mine. And we're going to talk about your journey. Definitely want to let the listeners know more about you and your story, and as well, with your expertise. I mean, I put it in the description, defensive back expert, and that's exactly what you are. You've trained some of the top guys in the NFL, some of the top guys in college, and guys that go out and make names for themselves. But for those listening, for those watching right now, I mean, talk about you and your story. You're from South Carolina. How did you ultimately wind up in Lisle, Illinois, playing Division III football at Benedictine University? It's not a route traveled very often from out-of-staters, to be honest.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. It was a full circle moment, man. How I got to Benedictine University was crazy. Being a guy from Rock Hill, South Carolina, I was born and raised there. Went to South Point High School. After high school, I went to a junior college in Minnesota for 2 years. And during that junior college time, I met a coach, that really connected with me, and he just stayed with me. So after junior college, I was interested in going to Coastal Carolina or Clemson University to play ball, to play Division I football. Got the opportunity to get into Coastal Carolina, and I get there day one and find out I'm eligible to play ball, and now I got to be a student for the first time, not a student athlete. So that really hindered me mentally and physically. And the coach that connected me at JUCO called me one day and told me that he just got a job at Benedictine University, and he was telling me how such the facility was, from an NFL style locker room to such a great turf field, to a great head coach in John Cooper, and he told me I should check it out online. So I checked it out online, and during that time at Coastal Carolina, I was not doing so good in school, and I was just trying to figure out life, just growing up trying to figure out life. So, I ended up having like a 1.9 GPA, and I needed a 2.0 to get there. So I had to take a summer school class. I ended up taking a summer school class, and Benedictine accepted me with a 1.9 GPA, just banking on that I'm going to make an A in this summer class. And I ended up taking the summer class, making an A, and like 2 weeks later, I was on a flight going to Benedictine University. Never seen the school before. Only seen the school online, never been to it. I just took a leap of faith, and God just told me to go. So I ended up going there, man. I ended up being the best decision of my life. One of the key pivots of my life. I was able to grow as a man, and I also was able to connect with so many great people like yourself, and just become a full circle man, and to play Division III football. Many kids, they Division I or bust, but I just looked at it like, man, I just want to play ball and get around people that believe in me, and see where things go.
Yeah, and there's some great talent. You see it every year. A Division III guy, or really a few Division III guys end up going balling out and making it to the next level. And a lot of guys think the next level is the NFL, and that's not necessarily the case. What was your journey like to trying to play professional football? Did you ever achieve that goal? And just talk about the grind that it was being a Division III athlete, having the talent to play D1. It was there. Unfortunately, like you said, in the classroom, it just wasn't fully there, but the talent was always there. I mean, what was it like for you as a Division III athlete to try and pursue the professional dream?
The journey was a tough journey, but it was just so surreal. After college, I ended up getting invited to an All-Star game in Miami, Florida. Being around some of the best talent from D2s to FCS to Division III guys, and competing there. And I got a lot of great feedback there from my technique and everything. So, and I had a lot of arena opportunities and a lot of overseas opportunity to play ball there. But I just had a great conversation with my college head coach, John Cooper. And, he was just he set me down in his office and just really got real with me. That's why I love him to this day. He told me like, if you was 6 foot 6'1", I would have never met you. But you being at the height that you are, and the limitations that you gonna face at the NFL level, because John Cooper was a DB scout. He'd been a DB scout for years, and that was my head coach at Benedictine University. So he knows what they're looking for. He knows he done found so many of them. So him telling me that was it's like it hold a lot of respect, because I had a lot of respect for him and he had a lot of respect for me. But he sat me in that office and told me that first you need to get your college degree. I had another year of school to get my college degree. So he said you need to get your college degree first. Then after that you need to become a coach. You your passion for football and your leadership skills, but you're going to be a great coach. And he told me I need to become a coach, and he hired me on that coaching staff at Benedictine, after my last season. And he hired me to be a coach, and they was able to actually get my undergrad, and actually I was able to get a master's degree as well at Benedictine University. So I went to Benedictine University blind, never seen it before, and I walked out of that school with 2 college degrees, endless amount of football games, won a conference championship. I solidified it myself, but I always told myself, if I can't make it to the NFL, man, I just think God got another opportunity for me to impact somewhere else. So I didn't. That's why I didn't go to the arenas and the overseas. I just felt like, my impact could be led somewhere else, and that's why I moved. That's what I went to.
Definitely deserves a round of applause. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember talking, it feels like 10 years ago, like when you're gearing up for the NFL draft, it feels like grind hard sports training was at least something that was maybe being molded. If it wasn't already a thing already, I mean, when did this come to life? When was this something that, all right, you're coaching now at Benedictine, your playing days are behind you. Now I want to start preparing guys and training guys for the next level. Okay, maybe I wasn't able to reach my dream and make it to the NFL, but I can make others better and help them achieve theirs.
Yes, sir. Oh man, it happens. It happened just crazy, man. Because I always had a passion for training. Growing up, I was didn't have a lot of money, but I'm from Rock Hill. A lot of great talent come from Rock Hill, South Carolina, and football. So I always had a passion for training, and I used to always have a group of guys when we was all college guys, and we used to come home from college. We used to train together. We used to work out together. So I always had that group, and I used to love it. I used to love training, and I just remember the summer going into my senior year. I got emotional on the field, like, man, this is my senior year. I don't know if I'm gonna ever play football again after this step. And then if I can't play football again, I can't enjoy this training I used to do, because we used to be out there 2 or 3 times a day just training, just going through drills and training ourselves, hitting the ladder. We used to do all that just day in and day out. We used to live and die with that. So I really felt that in my heart. The passion was there right there, because in that group we had D linemen, receivers, DBs, linebackers, and I was the guy that was creating the drills for everybody. I was creating drills for everybody, and the guys used to tell me, like, bro, you need to become a trainer, bro. Like, you got a passion for this, man. You always, set the drills up for us. We doing all this new stuff. Like, bro, you need to become a trainer. But, I was just chasing the NFL dream. So I really didn't, hone into that. But after I graduated college and I became a college coach, all those kids, they used to see me at the stadium just working out by myself. So they was like, coach, they gravitated to me like, man, coach, could you train us? Could you work out with us, man? So the thing is, I was a landscaper at Benedictine University. I was a landscaper during the day. That's how I was able to get my master's for free. I was landscaping on the college campus, and I used to have an hour lunch break. My hour lunch break every day was to train those kids at Benedictine University that was on the football team. You could walk by that stadium, you could see from 5 to 20 to, like, it just got so big. And I was just out there just training those guys, whether they played quarterback, whether they played offensive line, defensive line, linebacker. I was training everybody. And I was using my skill set and the things that I learned, and I was recording everything. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna create an Instagram page, and I'm gonna record all this, and I'm gonna just put my work up on Instagram. This was back in 2016, 2015, when, like, it wasn't that popular like it is now. So
Right.
I just jumped out there, and I just knew, like, man, this what I love to do. I'm on my lunch break, hour lunch break. I don't care about eating. I just want to get out here and train these kids for an hour. And I didn't charge nobody. Like, my first 3 years of ground hard sports training, I didn't charge it down. I didn't make no money. I didn't make no money the first 3 years. I used everybody as a guinea pig to figure out my training style, to figure out who I want to be, to figure out how to coach these kids, how to be a great trainer. I used all that in the first 3 years of my training career, man, and I think that what levitated me to the next level, and that's what really got me here today.
And of course, they can follow you on Twitter at grind_hard29. Your website, grindhardsports.com. What's the Instagram, Rodney?
It's _ grind hard sports training.
Okay. And again, you're currently right now in the South Carolina area, but I mean, if anyone wants any training, I mean, certainly visit any one of those three platforms and they can get in touch with you for sure. Who, okay, you obviously just talked about the upcoming and the upbringing of Grind Hard Sports Training and how, for guys wanting to start a business or whatever it might be, I mean, those had to be some grinded out type days. You said it, you're spending your hour-long lunch break working and training with guys such as Jarrett Leakus, another former guest of the show who was a baller there at Benedictine like yourself. When did it hit you that, okay, we're going to take this thing to the next level? I mean, when did somebody from the next level, like the NFL, hit you up and want to do some work with you? I mean, what was that first interaction like, or how did that come about? Because you look at your resume and some of the guys that you've trained in the past, and one of those guys has a South Carolina background in Stephon Gilmore, one of the top cornerbacks in the league. Certainly in his prime, he was probably the best cornerback in the NFL. That is somebody that you worked with. I mean, it doesn't just happen out of nowhere. How did you build your resume up, and how did you gain the connections to work with, some of the best in the NFL?
Man, I tell everybody, man, connections and putting yourself out there on Instagram is just a beautiful thing, man. Because, for me, it happened two times for me. When I was at Benedictine University, and I was later down the line when I had just gained my master's, I was able to work camp in Chicago. I was working a camp in Chicago, and so happened the camp was John Franklin's camp in Chicago. That's when he was playing for the Chicago Bears, and he was playing defensive back for the Chicago Bears. And I ended up connecting with him and his family at that camp. I ended up connecting with them, and next thing you know, a week later, I was end up training him. He was the first NFL guy to give me the opportunity to train him. I trained him a week later. And the thing is, I trained him. I trained him, but then 2 weeks later, I was moving back home to the Carolinas because I was taking a high school job, and I was moving back home. So it hit me like I finally cracked the door to get an NFL guy, but then now I'm about to leave. Because I had trained me and John had trained like 3 or 4 times throughout that connection when I first met him in his camp. And I was about to be able to train other Chicago Bear players. But I'm like, man, I'm about to leave. So I ended up leaving and basically coming back to Carolinas and basically starting Grind Hard all the way over because I had clientele, but it wasn't nothing like that because I was in Chicago.
Right.
So 2020 hit, COVID hit 2020, and that's when my business just it went to the roof. It went to the roof. It like through Instagram, DB named Doug Middleton ended up hitting me up through Instagram. Doug Middleton, he was a Jacksonville Jaguar safety. He ended up hitting me up, man. I love your videos, man. I just want to just work with you. So we ended up working for like a week. We worked for like a week, man. Him. Next thing you know, he tells every NFL guy that he knew. He told everybody about me and about my training. He told everybody. I ended
That's
up training
awesome.
James Bradbury. I ended up training Captain Mutherland. I ended up training Justin Burrs. I ended up training like Jermaine Pratt, all these NFL guys, Darius Slade. I ended up training all these guys, man, just by one NFL guy just believing in my training and telling everybody, man, this guy he does some great work and I believe in it. So that right there was really the sign of like, man, I'm here for a reason, and this is what I was born to do. Not only being able to train him NFL guys, but also just being able to just help high school kids and college kids develop those kids, man. That also made me have faith that, man, this is my lane. This is what I need to do, and being able to use Instagram as a platform to showcase your skills and showcase your passion as a trainer, I think really helped me get over that hump and to become a professional NFL trainer and work with so many great guys.
So note to self, start posting more content on Instagram. I got to follow those steps.
Yes, hey, I tell everybody, man. I say, man, you never know who watching, man. Hey, don't be scared to post your work, even if it's not right, man. Post it anyway, because if you believe in it, man, and people see your passion, they'll connect with you.
Man, and that's really cool to hear. I mean, unfortunately, thousands, if not millions, of businesses crashed and had to, close down during COVID. And Grindhard Sports Training ends up thriving in the time where it's probably most unlikely.
Yeah, yeah. That's what just that was so crazy to me. That's what blew my mind. Like, man, it's COVID, and man, we done kicked the door in. Like, how is that possible, man? I just couldn't believe it. But you know, I tell everybody, man, COVID was like so great for my business, man. It took us to the next level.
Yeah, you love to hear. So we talked about some of the guys that you've trained that excuse me made it to the next level and were very successful at the next level. You named them. I mean, Stephon Gilmore, Darius Slade, Jermaine Pratt. Any news on Jermaine Pratt? No, I'm just kidding. But
Hey, I can't tell you that one.
just kidding, just kidding. How about the next crop of players though, getting ready for the 2025 NFL draft? I mean, do you guys? Again, we're still pretty early in the process, but we do have the combine coming up next month, and players are getting ready for their pro day. Do you got any guys that you're working with for the 2025 NFL draft? What can you tell me about those guys?
Oh yeah, I'm working with three guys right now. I'm working with Dorian Davis out of Austin Peay. He was a defensive back. He was an All American at Western Carolina. Um, great safety, great corner, can play all positions in the secondary. Real smart kid, man. He just he just need that one opportunity. So he's getting the opportunity to be at the University of Tennessee Pro Day coming up. And also got Jalen Sharp. He from UT Martin, a linebacker from UT Martin, an All American linebacker from UT Martin. Small school kid, but a kid that was at the he got an opportunity to be at the Hula Bowl All-Star game, and he turned a lot of heads. A lot of scouts turned a lot of heads on scouts. So they looking for to see his pro day coming up in March, and he's another great guy that's I think gonna get a great opportunity and really make a 53. Also, training this guy named Quiz Royals. He's a Western Carolina guy. A guy that's really under the radar. Haven't got a lot of opportunities out there, but long corner. A 6'1" guy, long corner, long arms, can run, can track a football in the air. So he just need to be seen and get the opportunity to showcase himself on that level. So those three guys are the guys I'm working with this draft prep season, and these guys got a great opportunity ahead. All of them are small school guys, but they just need a chance, and God has blessed them to be in a position to be that they are in, and they getting their opportunity.
Is there anything you're a coach that has been through this process? Is there anything that you wish you would have known entering this process that you shared with those guys so they can kind of experience that before whatever that might be goes down or happens? Anything that maybe you experienced while you were going through the draft process that you didn't expect that you're trying to give these guys a fair warning for?
Yeah, man. Just know that when it's time to do your pro day, understand that this is the biggest interview of your life. So don't let nobody mess your biggest interview up. Like the people that's taking you through these drills and doing all this, if they trying to speed you up, you stop it, and you tell them, like, you go at your pace. Like, don't let nobody affect your money that's on the table. I tell all guys, like, this is your biggest interview. So don't let nobody control your biggest interview. You got the control of that. So I always remind guys that that don't let nobody speed you up out there. Whether it's doing drill work, whether it's doing 5'10" LG, don't let nobody speed you up that. You set the mark, and then you do everything to a crisp level in a fast physical level, but don't let nobody rush you into doing something that that you can do it better, you can showcase better. you know so I always tell guys that don't let nobody speed you up out there, especially with drill work. I also tell guys, just make sure that your connections and your network is always good. Well, wherever you go, whether you're going to train out somewhere, make sure you always connect with the people that you're working with, man. Whether it's you connecting with the athletes that you're training with, or people that's training you. Always connect, because you never know where this opportunity may lead you. You never know where it may lead you. So don't leave the chips on the table by by not opening your mouth and talking to people and telling people your story and telling people your showing people your passion. You know, I tell guys always show people your passion, and I tell them all the time, get down there and run a fast 40. You know, running a fast 40 will set you apart from a lot of people. You know, so I tell guys that's got to be the main focus. Being a small school guy, you got to have the main focus of running a fast 40. You know, that's cream of the crop. Like if you don't run a fast 40, you know, some scouts they might exit you out the list no matter what your height look like, what your drill work look like, you know. So I tell them speed is king, man. Speed is king. Make sure you hone into it and make sure you lead with your speed, man. You sure you can run fast, man. That'll turn a lot of heads and give you a lot of opportunities.
You know, I've attended the Northwestern Pro Day 4 or 5 times, and they invite smaller school prospects to their pro day. It's a Big Ten pro day, and they invite all the smaller school guys from the state of Illinois, you know, Southern Illinois, Eastern Illinois, Illinois State, whatever it might be, even Division II, Division III programs. Those D1 guys, those guys from Northwestern, they do every drill no matter what. The smaller school guys, if you don't run a 40 time that impresses these scouts, that impresses anyone that's in attendance, you run your 40, and if they're not impressed with you, you're done.
That's it.
So, like you said, I mean, that 40 time is crucial, especially coming from a small school. That could be the difference of a team turning on your tape, you know, not knowing you, turning on your tape, or just ignoring you and moving on.
Yes, 100%, man. That's why I tell the small school guys, like, drill work is it's something that you need to do, but you gotta focus on running a fast 40. You know, because like you say, man, a lot of guys don't even know that if you don't run a fast 40, they would tell you to leave. They would tell you to leave, and all that stuff that you train for, all that field work, all that stuff you train for, you're not gonna be able to display it. You know, so that 40 is king, man.
It's you know, it's a hard business. It's a hard business, certainly.
Yes, it is, man. It's hard to get in, and it's even harder to stay.
Exactly. He's Rodney Nichols, the founder of Grind Hard Sports Training, grindhardsports.com. And of course, you know, founder of this awesome merch. Much appreciate the hat, my man.
Thanks for support, man.
Few more questions for you, and then we'll get you out of here. Your time is greatly appreciated. Definitely want to get your thoughts on some of the defensive backs that are currently in the NFL. Being here in Illinois, let's start with the Chicago Bears. Jalen Johnson, he's somebody that has really opened up a lot of eyes, it seems like, the past 2 or 3 years. And he certainly, as I think all defensive backs and certainly most players in the NFL, you almost have to have a cockiness and confidence in yourself that you are the best in the business. And Jalen Johnson is certainly not soft-spoken when it comes to that. Do you think he's among the league's best cornerbacks in the NFL?
Yeah, I think so. I love his game, man. Like 2 years ago is when I really started to sit down and watch him. Like I love the way he compete. Like you say, he has a swag about himself, and he knows that he's one of the top guys. And anybody that line up in front of his face, he knows that he can out compete these guys and he can outwork these guys. And I love the way he attacked the ball. His ball skills is amazing. You know, his footwork is amazing, man. He's real sticky on receivers. You know, I can tell that he's a smart guy. I can tell you his football IQ is amazing because he knows some routes and concepts that come at him, and he's a guy that pulls his trigger. Like he's not afraid to, if he sees something, to jump it. You know, to see what he studied on film, what he's seen in practice, and in the game, and he execute. I can just tell by within his game. So I know his football IQ is amazing, man, and I just love. I love watching him. I love the way he compete. You know, I love the way he played the position. You know, he played the position the right way. You know, he seems like a leader, and he also seems like someone that's really passionate about the position.
You know, it's funny. You mentioned it, instincts, and very, very smart when it comes to jumping plays. And I think he was on an interview before last season. So like last off season, he was on an interview with Richard Sherman, and they're talking about a play. I think it was against the Raiders, and he totally, you know, left his assignment and he made a play on the ball. And of course, it turned out an interception. And it may have been against the Vikings because I think he was defending Justin Jefferson. Anyways, it doesn't really matter, but it happens time and time again on film for him. And, you know, that's just a credit to I would think you would know better than me, Rodney, but film study, knowing
Yeah,
your opponent and really just knowing your playbook and what your assignments are. And even when you ditch your assignment, make sure you're making the play.
yeah. That's a lot, man. 'Cause when playing defensive back, man, you have to be a film junkie. You got to be able to at least watch 6 to 10 hours of film a week. Just to be able to study your opponent because this game is turning into more of an offensive game. So that like you can't really touch receivers without getting a flag. So you have to really be smart and have a great football IQ to be able to recognize route, recognize concepts, understand receiver splits, understand receiver releases, understand all that within the game of how a guy attacking you, how he coming at you, how he dropping down, how he's stemming, what his top of the route look like. You got to be able to do that at this level now in this day age of the game. And he's one guy that really is honing to his craft, and he's someone that I tell my high school guys to, man, look at this guy right here because he really played the game the right way, and you can tell that he's fundamentally sound.
That's awesome. We have a pretty big Bears following, so I'm sure Bears fans love to hear that. Another
Yeah,
Bear that I'd like to get your thoughts on, Kyler Gordon. He hasn't really seen too much time playing on the outside. He's seen a little bit of time in his rookie year, a couple years back, and it actually wasn't a very great experience. Some not so great film out there on for him on the outside. But again, mainly a nickel back, and that's really where he's made his bread and butter at the last couple of seasons. And in my opinion, I think he's one of the top, maybe one of the top or underrated nickels, depending on how familiar you are with Kyler Gordon and his game. What are your thoughts on his game and really your thoughts, again, being a defensive back specialist, Rodney, your thoughts on the growth and the importance now of the nickel back position? I mean, 10 years ago, this was kind of looked at as a position you could just kind of throw maybe a backup in. But now it's a position with especially the importance and the really the standout play coming from the slot wide receiver position. It's a position that you need to have a quality player playing at the nickel position. Your overall thoughts on Kyler Gordon, and then again, just the growth of the nickelback position in general.
Oh yeah, I like Kyler Gordon, man. I like his toughness. I like his toughness, man. Being playing a nickel is a tough position to play, especially in the NFL with the field being so big. And nickel, you responsible for a run fit. You in the pass game, you in the run game. So it's a lot that's asking from that position. And I just think Gordon is a kid that's real scrappy. Somebody that's not afraid to compete. Whether he make a mistake or whether he make a play, he's just even kill. He's I always see him like a silent assassin. Real tough kid, real tough kid. Love the way he tackle. I love the way he attack the ball too. Love the way he attack the ball. And I think just the nickel position, it's a position that's growing heavily. It's a position that's going to be heavily paid too coming up because you're responsible to do so many things. Like you got to be able to stop the run and be able to be in the pass game too. And sometimes you covering some of the best receivers in the game because they put them in the slot sometimes now too.
Right.
So and you got to run with them. You got to run with them in open space. It's not like a corner you on the island. Safety, you reading downhill or you in the post or you a half player. But a nickel, man, you use in the middle, you in the field, you in a wide field, and it ain't nothing but space. You could be chasing the over route. Three plays in a row, you could be chasing the over route. Then now the fourth play, you got to come in and fill the alley and make a tackle. So it's a tough position, man. It's a tough position, man. And I think guys gonna end up getting paid big money, big dollars to play that position because it's so important. Especially NFL is a passing game now, so you got to have that nickel on the field a lot. You got to be able to have 5 or 6 DBs out there. And that nickel got to be able to tackle because you got to be able to stop the run too. So man, it's so that position is so vital, and the more this game grow, the more that position is going to be needed, and guys going to get paid the correct way for that position too.
And of course, Kyler Gordon entering his contract year. So I mean, he might be one of those guys that sets that new market for
Yeah,
the nickelback position. And just talking about the overall growth of that position, I used to do a podcast with former Bear DJ Moore, who has South Carolina ties. He's from Spartanburg, and he of course played the nickel position with the Bears from 2009 to 2012, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he used to say Urlacher and Briggs, they used to always call him mini backer. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what the position is and
Yep.
certainly has grown into.
Yep. It definitely is. It's growing exactly into that.
Yeah,
But now they want guys that can be able to run with these receivers. You
right.
know, But that's exactly what the game turning into, man. And it's a full circle moment, man. But I think with the game turning like that, it helps the defense because you got to be able to defend all these route concepts and all this passing that they doing now at times, man. Quarterbacks are really throwing the ball 40 and 42 times a game. You know, like I done watched some NFL games this past year where I seen Patrick Mahomes, uh, Geno Smith, they throwing the ball 42 times a game. So defense is gonna have to defend that.
Good luck. Good luck.
That's what I
It's
said,
tough,
man.
man. It's tough. I
Hey,
mean,
good luck,
especially,
man.
you know, I mean, again, you know much better than me, but talking about these Bears defensive backs, when you have a struggling defensive line, especially, and that quarterback has all day. I mean, you have
Yeah,
an elite defensive line, then you turn Patrick Mahomes into kind of what he looked like
yeah,
Super Bowl Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles, and going there, Rodney. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champs. Final score of 40-22, and despite that, I think the game wasn't even that close
no, it wasn't.
as it looks. But looking at the young cornerbacks, the young defensive backs that the Philadelphia Eagles have, I mean, starting with their first round pick, Quinyon Mitchell, coming from the MAC, Toledo. He had a fantastic season. He didn't get his first interception until the playoffs, but I mean, that guy was locking down number one receivers, locking down legit number one wide receivers all season long. Of course, it always helps having the veteran like Darius Slay, somebody that you've worked with in the past, a legit playmaker there, big play Slay. That always helps. And then, of course, you got Cooper DeJean. He had the great pick six early on in that Super Bowl game. I mean, a lot has been said, and I've certainly praised Howie Roseman and just the overall offseason that the Philadelphia Eagles had, both in free agency and the draft. But I mean, talk about those two big playmakers, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, and what their future looks like in the NFL, coming off of what's been a very impressive, all rookie defensive performance season.
Yeah, two great players that you mentioned, man. Mitchell being a Toledo guy, being a 2-star athlete out of high school, man. A guy that just always had a chip on his shoulder. So, watching him during the All-Star game, I knew he was going to be a great DB. And seeing him at the Eagles this past season and him stepping into that role and being so scrappy and being playing just like a pro. I mean, playing just like a veteran, man. Playing like he'd been there before. The great thing about those two guys, man, they got a chip on their shoulder, so they play the game the right way. They play the game, and they got a great leader with Darius Slade. Darius Slade, one of the best leaders I ever been around, man. Most genuine person I know. So I know he was able to give them every nugget that he ever had in his brain. He was able to get it to them. So that was able for them to elevate their game this year, man. And I felt like them having that veteran in that locker room was an opportunity for them to play comfortable and not have to be uptight, in their play. And you could see it on the field. Like those guys were never uptight. Those guys played with swagger, they played with confidence, and they trust what they saw out there. That's one thing I love about both of them. Like chippy players, they don't care what no one say. They gonna play their game. They ain't gonna do all this rah rah. They ain't no rah rah guys. They guys that just believe in their craft, man. And two guys that like I said, I was studying those guys from being in the All-Star game to seeing those guys prepare for the draft, and the Eagles got to steal with those two, man. Those two guys gonna be great for years to come, man. And I know those guys gonna play many years. Gonna be Pro Bowl players, both of them. You
They're
know,
certainly on their way. Last topic, and then I'll get you out of here, Rodney. Again, your time is greatly appreciated. He's Rodney Nichols, Grind Hard Sports Training, grindhardsports.com, at grind_hard29 on Twitter. Be sure to follow him. Great content. Two of the top cornerbacks from the 2022 NFL draft. I know we're going back a few years now, but it was a great draft when it came to these two guys. Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati, and then, of course, Derek Stingley Jr. out of LSU. Both have really been looked at as the top cornerback in the NFL at certain points of their young career up to this point. Who do you feel is the better overall cornerback for the long haul, and how exactly are their games different from one another, in your opinion?
Oh man, that's a good question. That's a good question. And two great guys, man. Two guys that I was also able to witness firsthand their training during the pro day, during the
Really?
draft prep. You know, I was able to fly out to Texas, and I was able to be in the same setting as both of those guys that they prepared for the draft during that year. But Stingley is one of a kind, man. You know, I really like his game. I really like his ball skills. His instincts is amazing. You know, the sky's the limit for him, man. I really think he's such a technician, man. He's going to be a Pro Bowl, a Hall of Famer, man. I really like his game. Even when he was at LSU, man, you could tell that he hones into his craft, and he's really all about his technique. All about his technique. You know, some plays he made in the playoffs this year and throughout the year, I was amazed. Like Joe draw, I was watching the game. I was like, man, wow, how did he make that play? How did he get his head around so fast? You know, he's such a technician, man, and I know his game. Like he gonna be able to play 10, 11 years in the NFL if you want to, just with his technique and his savviness and in the way he thinks. Sauce Gardner also good. I like Sauce Gardner as well too. A long corner. You know, he probably didn't, wasn't the best year this past year, but he's such a long corner and he got such a swagger and such a confidence, man. And I like the way he played the game. I like the way he approached the game too, man. With being a grinder, all about details. He loved details. He loved to ask questions. When I was out there, he loved to ask questions and be really honed in on his craft. You know, so I think the best years for him is ahead of him. And I think with the new head coach the Jets got this year, he's really gonna have one of those fantastic years and be able to display who he really is and display his athletic ability, and also be able to display getting his hands on the ball more.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn, another former Pro Bowl cornerback, now the head
Yeah,
coach of the New York Jets.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, going back to Derek Stingley, the playoff game against the Chargers. I mean, I know Justin Herbert threw 4 interceptions in that game. Derek Stingley having 2 of them, but I mean, at a certain point, it just almost seemed like you almost thought Derek Stingley was a Chargers wide receiver at one
yeah.
point.
Like he was in the huddle with him. It was like he was in
Right,
the huddle. I was like, man,
exactly.
Stingley must be in a huddle, man.
And
He's
then
got
when
to
it
be.
comes to Sauce Gardner, I got to take him down a couple notches. I mean, the Buffalo Wild Wing sauce is, just maybe it's just not my flavor. Maybe it's just not my thing. But so for that reason only, we'll go Derek Stingley. Not totally just kidding. But Rodney, really do appreciate your time, man. We're gonna have to do this a lot sooner than 10 years from now, like the
Most
last time we
definitely, man.
chatted. But I mean, fantastic insight. Not only on, of course, Grind Hard Sports Training, but your overall thoughts on some of the top defensive backs in the NFL. Really enjoyed this conversation, my man. Before I let you go, please let the people know where they can follow you and your work at.
Man, thank you so much for being on this call. First of all, man, I appreciate your support in the business. I appreciate your support for me. You know, guys, they can get in and they can get in touch with me. You can get in touch with me on Twitter at ground_hard29. Instagram, you can follow us at _ground hard sports training. Contact me at there anytime. And you can also catch us on Facebook at ground hard sports training too. Appreciate the opportunity, man. Bears fan, make sure y'all take care of my guy Tremaine Edmonds. That's another guy that I train every off season. You know, we got a great relationship, and I know he's gonna do
Freak
some
athlete, man.
great things for the Bears as he continue to grow in his professional career.
Yeah, man. Freak athlete right there. Freak
Yeah,
athlete.
yeah, man, he is, man. Great guy too on off the field, man. Great family. Uh,
Certainly seems like it. Hey, Rodney, really appreciate your time. You have a great rest of your evening, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, man. You too.
Thank you. There he goes, Rodney Nichols, again, CEO of Grind Hard Sports Training, defensive back specialist, and all around great guy. Again, follow him on Twitter at grind_hard29, his website at grindhardsports.com. Really appreciate him and his time this evening. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. A good revisit with Rodney Nichols from Grind Hard Sports. And of course, getting his knowledge and his thoughts on some of the top cornerbacks, defensive backs in general in the NFL. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed tonight's show. Until next time, hope you all have a great evening.